How's it going, everyone? James Lynch here for odds.com doing my prop bets for Saturday's UFC Vegas 11 card, which goes down at the Apex in Las Vegas. We're going to start first in the main event. Tyron Woodley, Colby Covington. Colby Covington about a 3-1 favorite on most books right now. And I think that's a little too steep for my liking, to be honest. I know Covington has looked pretty good other than the Kamaru Usman fight. Even in that fight, he looked good. He was close, heading into that fifth round before he got finished. Woodley has not looked good in his last two fights. So obviously, Colby the favorite for a reason, but I still think minus 300, a little too steep for my liking. I like Covington by decision in this fight. If you look at Covington in his career, he's only got 4 finishes. His last stoppage win was actually back in August of 2016 when he finished Max Griffin. I don't think Colby's going to finish this fight, and especially with the fact he's coming off a loss, I don't think he's going to play it safe, but I think more likely than not, he's just going to try and outwork Tyron Woodley and not go for anything crazy. And I don't expect Covington to keep it standing in this fight, even though I know he has improved that aspect of his game. Woodley is still pretty dangerous as a striker, and we do know he has knockout power, so I don't think Covington's going to go that route like he did with the Kamaru Usman. Instead, I see him outpacing Woodley, using his wrestling, being the faster guy, and pulling off a decision in this one. And Covington also never lost back-to-back fights in his career. And consider the fact that both Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns couldn't finish Tyron Woodley as well. So I don't think Covington will here either. So right now you can get Covington by decision at minus 145, a lot better than that minus 300 odd that we're seeing on most books. All right, let's go to the women's strawweight division. We've got Mackenzie Dern taking on Miranda Marquez. And I like Mackenzie Dern in this fight, but I think you can get some even better value for her rather than her just straight up. You can get her by submission. Now, we know Dern has a decorated jiu-jitsu background. That was one of the things that was sort of hyping her up heading into the UFC. And I know she hasn't had a ton of submission wins in the octagon, although in her last fight, she did submit Hannah Cyphers. But I think she gets it done here by submission. If this fight hits the mat, even though Marcos is very good on the ground, Dern's just that much better. And I do see her getting the submission in this fight. And right now, you can get that for plus 150. Now, if you're wondering why this is plus money for a former jiu-jitsu champion in Mackenzie Dern, it's because Marcos is tough to finish. There's only one woman in the UFC that has submitted Miranda Marquez, and that's Courtney Casey, and that was a few years ago. She's fought so many other fighters, and it hasn't happened. She also got submitted by Rose Namajunas on The Ultimate Fighter, but I just think she hasn't fought a jiu-jitsu specialist like Dern in quite some time, and you got to look at Marquez. Even though she does have a good ground game, I think if it does hit the mat, like I said, I think Dern's going to have the edge there, and even though this is the 3-round fight, I think Dern can get it done. So give me Mackenzie Dern by submission. That prop, like I said, plus 150. I see a lot of value there for Mackenzie Dern. And looking at the prelims, I really like this fight between TJ Laramie and Derek Minner. Right now, TJ Laramie, almost like Covington in the main event, about a 3-1 favorite in this one. I think that's probably where it needs to be. The 22-year-old looked great on Contender Series, but you can get even better value with Laramie right now inside the distance is at minus 130. And I'll tell you why I like this for a couple of reasons. Number one, Laramie has finished 9 of his 12 wins have ended inside the distance. So, Laramie is a finisher, and he's only getting better every fight, just 22 years old, like I mentioned. And Derek Minner, believe it or not, I went back and looked at this. His last 5 losses have all been stoppage losses. So who's to say Laramie can't do this here? I know his last fight was a bit, it wasn't a clean finish. He injured his opponent, Daniel Swain, couldn't continue. He broke his rib, but that was caused by Laramie. So who's to say he can't do it here as well? I really like Laramie in this fight. I think he's going to really shine in his UFC debut, and I think he gets a finish. And like I said, getting him at minus 130 for that inside the distance prop, I think a lot better than just taking him straight up. I think there's definitely some value on that. And the reason I go that as opposed to say knockout or submission is because Minner's been finished multiple ways. He's been finished by knockout. He's been finished by submission. So I think save yourself the extra amount and just take the minus 130. I think that's good value there. So I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. What are some prop bets you're looking at on this card? Shoot me a DM on Twitter or Instagram. It's at Lynch on Sports. I'm more than happy to talk about some of these prop bets. Again, this is one of the best cards this year. One of the best fight night cards, I should say, that hasn't been a pay-per-view. Really excited for this one. Make sure you subscribe to the Odds HQ YouTube channel here, where you're going to find my prop bets breakdowns every week. As well, you can find all my interviews too. So appreciate you guys watching. I will see you next week, and enjoy the card on Saturday night.